Alright, I'm going to give my commentary on the Super Bowl 60 halftime show just based on what I observed. I've talked about several Super Bowl halftime shows on here, including the past 3 years in a row. So let's get into it. So the headliner this year was Bad Bunny. As soon as I heard that he was chosen for the show, I knew it would be a challenge to do this video because he performs mostly in Spanish. I'll talk briefly about some of the things he said, but the symbolism of the show speaks volumes. Whether the show is in English or Spanish, it's still a ritual. It still has symbolism. And knowing about the one-night symbolism of his Un Verano Sin Ti album cover, I already knew Bad Bunny was no stranger to symbolism. So right off the bat, the sponsor of the show, Apple Music, sends a very clear message. The Apple logo takes all the viewers downward. To me, this screams portal to hell. You can even make the case for fallen angel symbolism since you see someone at the end. One of the first images we see as the show starts is people working in a field while Bad Bunny just strolls through. To me, this screams slavery. This show is all about making us slaves, mental slaves, through mind control programming. And perhaps the ultimate message is that the occult plans to make us all slaves, slaves to their beliefs and ungodly worship. I'll talk more about that later. As Bad Bunny is performing, he passes a lot of people doing different things. The one that caught my eye was the two boxers. As you can see, one boxer is wearing red gloves, one boxer is wearing blue gloves. The red and blue trope is symbolic of so many things. The red lodge and blue lodge of Freemasonry. The red heart of a departed soul being weighted against the blue ostrich feather in Egyptian folklore, and much more. The amount of seductive dancing throughout was pretty prominent. I don't even have to play that footage. This shot alone says it all. Probably a nod to one or several gods of love, sex, and lust. Eros, Cupid, you name it. One of Bad Bunny's special guests on the show was Lady Gaga. I've done commentary on her before. I can't stand her. Just look at her stage name. Lady? She's not a lady. Look at her chest. I'm sorry if that sounds crude, but look at her chest. Listen to her song, Born This Way. Lady Gaga is not a woman. And Gaga, that's the name of a Mesopotamian goddess. Another nod to seduction here, another nod to gods of love and lust here, with him holding his pelvis. And just as going down has symbolism in occult circles, so does going up. He climbs all the way up to the top of this, I guess it's a telephone pole, as if to say he's climbing up the ladder of the Illuminati or Freemasonry. And then his number. He's wearing number 64. What is the significance of 64? Another common symbolism in this type of entertainment is nods to Saturn, a significant figure in occult circles. One symbol for Saturn is a cube, specifically the black cube of Saturn. The black cube of Saturn has been a symbol revered in occult practices and satanic rituals since ancient times. Saturn, the god of time in Roman mythology, has long been associated with materialism, restriction, and control. And this is represented by the six-sided cube. So if you break down the number 64, let's do a little math. 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. What's another way you can say that? 4 cubed. How about the words? Let's get into the words a little bit. I found a translation of the entire show. In the first song, he's bragging about how much girlfriends he has. Again, probably a nod to the gods of love and lust. The next few songs do the same thing. Talk about sex and girls and dancing. Lady Gaga's song was Die With a Smile. It talks about love, but it also uses end of the world language. The apocalypse is another common theme in occult circles. In occult and esoteric circles, An apocalypse signifies not the literal end of the world, but a transformative and often violent transition. It represents the revealing of hidden knowledge and the purification of humanity to usher in a new spiritual era. So in other words, this is symbolism for the occult taking over and unfolding their agenda. And then later in the show, where there is a flag processional of different Latin American countries, perhaps that's significant of the same thing, taking over the world. After Lady Gaga's song, look what he says. Not to anyone in particular, but he says, "And I've had many girlfriends, but none like you. I don't have my son anymore. I live on the moon." A nod to sun and moon gods right there. "If I think of you, I'd go for it in an instant. My devil, my angel, my crazy girl. My devil, my angel, my crazy girl." Seriously? Calling a girl your devil? But to also call her an angel, that's doing two things. You're calling her a fallen angel if you're also calling her a devil, so you're really just being redundant. And you're doing an example of duality, also very common in occult circles. The unification of two polar opposites. We see it with things like the yin-yang symbol, the common occult phrase, "as above, so below," and more. Duality. The rest talks about partying, drinking, drugs, reggaeton music, and love. So there you have it. This stuff might not be obvious to the average person, but that's exactly how the producers want it. They want it to seem like it's just harmless, innocent entertainment. But no. The Super Bowl halftime show is a ritual that honors several pagan gods and Satan himself. And Bad Bunny's performance this year was no exception. Don't get caught up in the beat of the music or the visual production, because behind it all is a big agenda, an agenda for your soul.